Hello everyone, I'm Elaine. Welcome to my new episode of the project analysis video. And today I'm going to share about the project Sora, an upcoming development in District 22. The preview is going to start very soon on the 22nd of June. So let us now take a look at this Sora. This is an artist's impression of how Sora is going to look like, and if you notice, a lot of the units are actually overlooking the lake gardens. This is where the location is. If I can zoom in, over here is actually Sora. So this is one of the en bloc development, and like I mentioned, it's actually overlooking the Jurong Lake Gardens. Some project information. So the developer is actually Sing Hai Yi, and then there's a total of 440 units. The vacant possession is around June 2028. So these are some of the artist's impression, again showing you how the lobby is going to look like. The very nice and grand lobby. We have a Sky 360, which means the owners, the residents over there, or even the tenants can actually go up to the Sky 360 to enjoy the very nice views. Proximity to school, we see that there's actually one primary school, Lakeside Primary School, that is actually within 1 kilometer of Sora. But over here in Sora, what we want to focus and emphasize on is a lot on the views that this development can offer. So later I'm going to share with you more on what are the orientation and what are the unit types that are actually overlooking the lake gardens. So let us look at the site plan. So this is what I meant. Over here, we see that actually most of the unit, in fact about 78.5% of the units are actually all the lake facing. Look at this views over there, overlooking the lake gardens. And in fact, there's only about 6 stacks over here, which are the smaller unit type, which is the 1+ study and the 2 bedrooms. They are actually facing the opposite direction over here, which are the HDB facing. Okay, it is important to understand the unit mix. What is the unit mix in the development? Because if let's say today you are looking at something for investment, 1+ study, we want to know the total number of units that's available in the whole development. So we know that when you are out for rental, who are your competitors and what are the supply that is actually in the development itself. So we take a look at 1+ study. The smallest unit type in Sora is 1+ study, offering only 36 units. And the main bulk of it is actually the 2 to 3 bedroom, which is actually quite common in most of the development. The main bulk of it is actually the 2 and the 3 bedroom. And if you're looking something on the bigger floor plate side, we see that the 4 bedroom actually is only 18 units, and the 5 bedroom another 18 units. So I'm going to look into the analysis of the bigger unit later on as well. So next we're going to look at the layout. We're going to dive into the different layout from the 1+ study all the way to the 5 bedroom to understand what are the different layout that Sora offers. First of all, 1+ study. So like I mentioned earlier, there is no 1 bedroom. The smallest unit type is 1+ study in Sora. There's only 36 units, so this is only the one and only layout for 1+ study at 538 square feet. So let us take a look from the kitchen area, the door opening into the kitchen. What is very different from this layout, right? It's very different from a normal open concept 1 or 1+ study layout. Why is that so? If you look at this, when you enter from your main door, you will need to have a little turn before you reach your living area. So that means to say you enjoy a lot of privacy in your living area. Imagine you are seated here, and when your door opens, right, people cannot look into your living area directly. And also because of the separation of the kitchen area over here, you actually have a whole proper space of dining. That means you can actually put a proper dining table at this area. Because most of the open concept, smaller unit type, the dining is very often very close to the kitchen area. So for this layout, it is actually very spacious for your dining. And on top of that, if you look at the study, it's actually tucked inside the master bedroom, which means to say you will enjoy a very, very spacious master bedroom. Another fact is that when you have your study here, right, you can also realize there's actually a door opening to the balcony. So that means to say there's very flexible use of this space. Either you can really enclose up as a study, and then when someone has to, maybe your spouse has to be inside here doing his work, they can actually enter in and out from the door over here at the balcony. But if you do not need to work from home, for example, and you do not need the study area, this area can be actually done up as a dresser area or even more carpentry for storage. So all in all, this layout over here, the study within the master makes the whole master bedroom very spacious. So this is the floor plan that Sora offers for 1 plus study. So the next question is that for 538 square feet, a 1 plus study, if I want to look at this unit for investment, is it something good to consider? So let us take a look at the rental that over there in District 22. What are the rental between 1 plus study and 1 bedroom? So we use Lake Grande as an example. Okay, over here, we can see that this part for 1 bedroom, the rental that's able to fetch for 1 bedroom is about 3,700. But on the other hand, for the 1 plus study, the average rental is about 3,500. So that means we say, even though I'm paying a higher price for plus study, because the plus study in terms of the size is definitely bigger than the 1 bedroom. So if I'm looking at a 1 plus study for rental, this 1 plus study in Sora may not be the most ideal floor plan or the most ideal unit type for rental purposes. Because over here from the case study, we see that for 1 bedroom and 1 plus study, it may not necessarily be 1 plus study getting a higher rental. And in this case, in this example over here, in fact, the rental is not even the same as the 1 bedroom. So then what should I do if let's say I'm looking at a smaller unit for rental investment, for investment purpose, and if let's say I have a little bit on a budget constraint? I have a solution for you. My suggestion is to convert the 1 plus study into a 2 bedroom if you want to rent it out. So, and because the layout in Sora is able to let you do the conversion. So let's take a look. So remember, as I mentioned, the kitchen is actually separated one corner. That means to say, in this area here, you can actually build a wall to convert this into 1 bedroom. So I think maybe, of course, if you want to put a queen size bed, it'll be a bit tight, but you can still do a proper wardrobe space and probably a single or a super single in this bedroom. And then, because there's actually a balcony access over here, so this room can actually still have your ventilation from the balcony area. And you still maintain the master bedroom as a second bedroom. And both of the rooms will have access to the bathroom because of the way that it's configured. And over this area, you still can have your little dining or living area. So in this way, we can actually rent this out as a 2-bed, 1-bath, a 2 compact unit. So if I'm able to do the conversion, because the Sora layout enable us to do the conversion in terms of rental, taking example from Lake Grande again, we can potentially be looking at a 4,200 rental. And because in Sora, we do not have a 2-bed compact, the next jump from 1 plus study will be 2-bed, 2-bathroom. So assuming in a scenario that 2-bed, 2-bathroom definitely will need to have command a higher rental because of the higher purchase price. So assuming upon TOP, the 2-bed, 2-bath is actually looking at a $5,000 rental, and our conversion of this into a 2 compact, I think a rental of 4,200 to 4,300 is very achievable because it fits into the gap of a smaller 2-bedroom that is actually available in the whole of Sora, a smaller 2-bedroom offering a slightly lower rental than 2-bed, 2-bath, but still because there's tenants who needs a 2-bedroom. So they will definitely be looking at this conversion of the 2-bed, 1-bath, 2-bed compact unit type that's available. And also the next thing that we want to know, to understand deeper, that is the supply of the 1 or 1 plus study in District 22. Because when I do have a unit in Sora for this 1 plus study, I want to know what are the competition, who am I competing against when my unit is out for rent or out for sale. So in the current supply of the 1 and 1 plus study in District 22, we can see that there's a total of 553 units, and of which only 22 units, 4%, is available for sale. So of course the number 500 over units may look like a huge number, so we want to take something to compare in relative to. So we also look at the District 21, the supply of 1 bedroom and 1 plus study, and we can see that it's actually a total of 966 units that's available in District 21. And currently, there is actually 100 over units that's available for sale. So what's the difference between these two areas? We can see that back to District 22, the supply of the small units is actually relatively lower. And also we know that because of the lower quantum in District 22, the owners over there actually enjoy a good rental. And this could be one of the reasons why there is very little units for sale in the resale market. So if you do own a 1 or 1 plus study in District 22, the good chance is that the unit can be rented out quite easily, the rental can be achieved, and also very little competition in the resale market when it's out for rent or out for sale. So that explains the supply and demand of the 1 and 1 plus study in District 22. Next question that we want to be looking at would be, so if I'm keen in getting a 1 plus study, what should be a fair price? What is a good price or a fair price that I can be looking at in Sora? So with reference to that, we want to take Lake Garden Residences pricing strategy as a guide, because Lake Garden Residences is just next to Sora and is also a new development. So, and in terms of the orientation, we can see that it is also very similar to Sora, because the bigger units are actually facing the lake. And the mid-size units are actually side-facing, also facing towards the lake. And the smaller units are actually facing the HDB. So the orientation is very similar to Sora, and we feel that this is actually a good guide for us to look at. So let us take a look at the numbers. HDB facing, on the left side over here, is actually the 1 bedroom HDB facing in terms of the per square foot price, and then we take a 4 bedroom lake facing unit as a comparison, because the 4 bedroom are the lake facing units. Okay, so we also take a reference point from the low floor and the mid floor and also high floor. The reason why is that so is that because as the floor gets higher, usually there is actually a price jump or a loading on the higher floors. So we need to know, if let's say today I'm looking at the low floor, then I compare something with the low floor. Okay, so over here, the 1 bedroom per square foot is actually about 1,999 per square foot and close to 2,000, but the 4 bedroom is actually 2,001 per square foot. And we can see that there's actually a price gap of 5.5% difference. It is important to look at the percentage of the price gap, because both Lake Garden and Sora, although they are having the same orientation, but in terms of the whole development, what each of the development can offer, they are very different. So it will be more accurate if we were to use the per square foot to do the calculation, and we use this percentage as a guide. Because I cannot say that if let's say Lake Garden is actually offering at $2,000 per square foot, it's also not accurate to say that Sora at $2,000 per square foot, it is the best price to go in, because that is not the case. Both projects are actually very different in terms of what they offer, so we need to use the percentage difference. So from here in this example, we can see that 1 bedroom, low floor, it is 5.5% cheaper than the 4 bedroom lake facing. So non-lake facing, 5.5% cheaper than lake facing. So if let's say taking this guide in Sora, and I'm going to get a 1 plus study low floor, if my price gap is about 5.5, I would say a range of 5 to 6% cheaper, or if the gap can be even higher, more than the 6%, it means that I am getting a very good deal for my low floor 1 plus study, because I'm actually paying 5 to 6% cheaper than the lake facing units. So that's for the lower floor. But another interesting fact to see that as my unit gets higher on the 10th floor, why do I highlight in green? Is because that generally the per square foot price for 1 bedroom is usually higher than the bigger units. So that could be a reason why over here, when it reaches the mid floor, the per square foot for the 1 bedroom is higher than the per square foot for the 4 bedroom lake facing. And that explains that there is actually a negative 0.8, which means to say that if I'm going for the mid floor 1 plus study, and I'm actually paying 0.8% higher than the lake facing unit. So again, taking the percentage point as a reference, if today at Sora, I'm considering a mid floor unit, And if I'm paying about 0.5 to 0.8%, little bit more expensive than the lake facing, then I think it is fine. Or even if in Sora, if the price gap is a positive 1%, that means I'm paying 1% cheaper than the lake facing, then I think it's also fair to look at the Sora mid-floor units. So this is how it works. We want to use the percentage difference to give us a gauge whether is it a fair price or is it better to get the lower floor or the higher floors. So this actually will be the pricing strategy or rather a price reference that we can actually look at when we are at the launch at Sora to determine which floor is actually good to go in. So this is for 1+ study. Next, we look at the 2-bedroom layout. For 2-bedroom, the facing is actually very similar to the 1+ study, which is over here, facing towards the HDB. So we can see that there's actually two different sizes, 646 square feet and 667 square feet. So both of these units actually will be facing the same direction, but they have very different layout. So let us take a look at type B1 first. What I like about this layout is that there is actually a window at your kitchen area. So it's actually quite rare for a 2-bedroom to have a kitchen, to have a window at the open concept kitchen. So that is what Sora offers. And also I have got windows at the master bathroom. Just that over here, one of the big differences is that I do not have windows at the bathroom too. And this is actually a dumbbell layout. That means when you enter, one room is on the left side and one room is on the right side. So this dumbbell layout is actually very subjective. Some buyers actually do like the dumbbell layout because it's actually a very efficient use of space. Inside in this dumbbell layout, you can actually feel that, I can feel the spaciousness because you don't have any wasted space at the corridor to your bedrooms. But some buyers actually prefer the typical layout, which is on my right side, which is type B2, because they want to have a little bit more privacy, especially for their bedrooms. Over here, the normal layout, when you enter, right, you will not be looking directly into the two rooms like that from your living room. So I would say that the type B2 667 square feet will offer to buyers who actually will be looking at this layout more for their own stay. So comparing both of the 2-bedroom, 2-bed, 2-bath, usually we will say that we should go for the lower size, the 646. Lower size because smaller size, lower quantum, definitely this would be the choice for investment. So usually that's the case. But in this situation, because of the very little units, you see there's only 24 units and 36 units over here. So even for the type B2, it's only 36 units. We want to look at what is the difference in terms of the size and what is the likely premium that we'll be paying if I were to go for a slightly bigger unit. So next thing over here, the size difference is actually 21 square feet. Assuming that the price is at 2001, because as of now, we do not have any indicative from developer yet, but let's take an example of 2001 per square foot. And I multiply by this 21 square feet, the difference I'm paying is about 44,000. And in terms of the percentage, I'm paying just about 3.25% premium or a little bit higher for the 667 square feet. So because the premium is low, my suggestion is that you can also be taking a look at the 667. You can also consider the 667 square feet. Let us take a look back at the layout over here. So for two reasons. Number one, because the premium is very low at about 3%. And number two, this type B2 layout offers to a wider pool of buyers. Why do I say so? Number one, 2-bedroom, of course, often is actually buyers will be looking at in terms of investment. But because the premium is very little, so in terms of the total purchase price, it is not a very drastic difference. But because of the layout, I can actually appeal to a wider group of buyers. Next time when I want to resell it in the resale market, I will be catering for buyers who are looking as an investment or buyers who are actually looking for their own stay. Plus the fact that I have got windows opening at the kitchen and two of the bedrooms, which are typically what own stay buyers are usually looking out for when they want to buy a 2-bedroom for our own stay. So I would say that 667 will be my recommended choice because of the very little premium and it caters to more buyers later on. So that is for 2-bedroom. In Sora, we also have got 2+ study. And the 2 plus study, you can see that it's actually over here at this stacks over here, which means 2 plus study, they are all lake facing. So let us take a look at the 2 plus study. There's actually different layout for 2 plus study as well. Firstly, the type B3S and then type B4S. Comparing these two floor plan, there is one very major difference that is at the balcony area. Type B3S offers a full balcony, a normal balcony with 3 glass sliding door. But for the B4S, you can see that there is actually an aircon latch that eats into the balcony. And usually when there's an aircon latch, it means to say that this part over here, very likely it will just be a half height window. That means the bottom will be the concrete and the top will then be your glass window. Bear in mind that for 2 plus study, in Sora, for 2 plus study, it actually offers all the lake view. And in Sora, this is what we want to focus and emphasize on. If your unit type is type B4S, that does not offer a full view of the lake garden, then I think this is something that you need to reconsider. So let us also take a look at the floor plan in depth. Okay, the only disadvantage, a little disadvantage of the 2 plus study as compared to the 2 bedroom is that I do not have a window opening at my kitchen area. Alright, there is no window opening and I do not have got the window opening at the master bath or the bathroom too. So that is actually the same for even the type B4S over here. But again, what I want to emphasize is that 2 plus study very often is actually for own stay because you want to have the space. If it's for rental purposes, definitely the smaller unit makes more sense. So for 2 plus study, the fortunate, very good thing is that it offers very, very nice views. And because we want to buy for own stay, the emotional parts will come in because we want to have very nice views for our own stay unit. So again, even though the layout has got a little bit of shortfall here and there because of the windows opening, but it is still a good unit if let's say you're looking for own stay. But comparing both of the layout, later I'll do a summary of which one is the one that I'm going to suggest as well. Okay, going back to this 2 bedroom versus 2 plus study, this case study is very similar to what we did earlier on, 1 bedroom and 1 plus study. So today, if let's say you're looking at 2 bedroom for rental purpose, for investment purpose, so definitely we want to look at the smaller unit. That means to say 2 bedroom and 2 plus study, we will go for 2 bedroom for rental or investment purpose. Why is that so? Using Lake Grande as an example, the 2 bedroom rental that it can fetch is around that 4,700. Okay, so about 4,700 for 2 bedroom. But for 2 plus study, even though the size is much bigger at 818 square feet, so the 2 bedroom is actually 700 over. The 2 plus study is 818. Higher purchase price doesn't necessarily mean that you get a higher rental. And in fact, the rental is about the same as the 2 bedroom. So again, as I mentioned, if let's say you're really looking at a 2 bedroom for rental purpose, then it's good to consider just the 2 bedroom. Another example at Caspian to show you the example of the rental that's achieving for 2 bedroom and 2 plus study is the same. For 2 bedroom in Caspian, average rental is at 4,600. But for 2 plus study, it's just a little bit higher at 4,700. And in fact, the size difference is actually quite a bit. So again, to sum up, in terms of the rental wise, we should be looking at a 2 bedroom. I will let you know more on which unit type that I'm going to suggest later on. But first, before that, let us again take a look at the price gap between 2 bedroom, non-lake facing, and 4 bedroom, which is lake facing. Again, taking Lake Garden as an example, as a reference of how developers strategize their pricing in Lake Garden residences, and we see how we can actually apply it to Sora when Sora is actually launched. So for here, I'm taking again the stack 8, which is a 4 bedroom lake facing at Lake Garden residences, and a 2 bedroom, which is actually the HDB facing. So again, similar to 1 plus study, we take reference point for low floor, second floor, and then mid floor and high floor. So we look at the percentage difference in terms of the per square foot price. So what are the per square foot price, and then we calculate the percentage difference. Over here, it is very straightforward and it's very obvious that the low floor for 2 bedroom is really a very good deal because it is about 9.4% cheaper. Means to say, if in Sora, my 2-bedroom HDB facing offers me a gap 9%, about 9% cheaper than a lake facing, I would say that this is a very good price or very safe price to enter in Sora. Or maybe we can give a price, we can give a percentage difference about a range of 8 to 9%. So if it's about 8 to 9% cheaper, then it's actually something to consider for low floor. But if the price point gets smaller, say for example, instead of having a 9%, my price gap is only about 4 to 5%. That means I'm only paying about 4 to 5% cheaper, assuming it's actually just 4% cheaper. Then we have to consider, do we want to look at the mid-floor? Because the mid-floor offering you definitely a better views is at 3.7% price gap. So it is, like I mentioned just now in my 1+ study example, we do not look at the absolute dollars, but we want to look at the difference in terms of the price gap, and we want to take a look at the percentage, because that's how we're going to gauge which is the good floor to enter in at Sora, taking reference to what Lake Garden has already offered. So in this example, to summarize again, low floor definitely is actually, if we are looking at the same price gap, buying 9% cheaper, definitely this is very safe. But if this low floor price gap starts to narrow to just about 4 to 5%, then we have to consider maybe it's even better to go for the mid floor or even the high floor, because the high floor percentage difference is only at 5%. So this is how it's going to work for the 2-bedroom in Sora if we were to apply this price guide to Sora. And because we have a 2+ study, remember the 2+ study is they're all lake facing. So in this price guide, right, we need to look at the other way, which is the 2+ study lake facing. Because Sora 2+ study, also they're all going to be the lake facing. So in fact, in this example, it's very, very obvious that if you're going for the lake facing, go for the highest floor possible because the price gap is so little. That means to say, right, in your 2+ study lake facing, you are only paying 0.35%, a little bit more expensive than the non-lake facing. So in this example, it's actually a very clear difference that if it's lake facing, and if this also applies to Sora, go for the highest possible because you're paying the least price difference. So this is actually for 2 and 2+ study. And in fact, if I were to go back to the 2-bedroom, okay, 2 and 4-bedroom price difference, right? We can also use this example if we want to look at a 4-bedroom. That means to say, over here, in terms of the mid-floor, the 4-bedroom price gap is at 3.7. So if I want to consider a 4-bedroom in Sora, I can actually go for the mid-floor because similarly, I'm paying the least premium to enter into a lake-facing unit. So this price gap can be actually work both ways. Either you actually look at the bigger gap for the non-lake facing, all right, how much cheaper to go into for the non-lake facing, or how much more premium that you have to pay if, let's say, you are getting into a lake-facing unit. So it actually works both ways. So that's for the analysis, the pricing reference for 2 and 2+ study. To sum up as a whole, what are my recommended choice units for 2-bedroom and 2+ study? So as I mentioned earlier on, because of the very little premium, just about the 3.2% premium that I'm going to pay if I'm going for the bigger unit, I will still recommend the Type B2, which is the 667 square feet. Because of the very little premium, plus the fact that I cater to a wider group of buyers. Why is this important? More wider group of buyers means that demand is higher, means that price would be higher also when you want to resell. So that's for 2-bedroom. For 2 plus study, so just now we've seen the example of the rental. We definitely can understand that 2 bedroom and 2 plus study, in terms of the rental, it is very similar. But that does not necessarily mean that 2 plus study is totally out of the choice, because 2 plus study caters to own stay buyers, and 2 plus study enjoy the best view as compared to the 2 bedroom. So definitely for 2 plus study, we want to look at, because of the view it offers, it will actually cater to homestay buyers. But because 2 plus study has got many different stacks, what I want to focus on is stack 2 and stack 11. Why is this so? Let me go back to the site plan. There's actually 6 stacks over here: 23, 24, 17, 18, and stack 11 and 2. 23 and 24, 17 and 18, we can see clearly that it is actually a wide view over here that's overlooking the lake for these 4 stacks. Whereas stack 11 and 2 is actually a little bit tight inside over here. So maybe there is a small chance that your left or your right side, right, might be a little bit blocked by this bigger unit over here. But it still offers you the lake view. So because of that, there is a good chance that for stack 11 and 2, you'll be paying lesser premium as compared to full lake view. You're still getting the same unit type, which is the type B3S with the full balcony, but there's a good chance that you will actually be paying slightly lesser because of the little bit of the blockage from your balcony area, but still overlooking the lake over here at stack 11 and 2. So these are the 2 stacks that we want to focus on first when it actually comes to the launch day. So that's my recommendation for 2 bedroom and 2 plus study. Now we have come to the 3 bedroom layout. So 3 bedroom, the smallest unit, the smallest entry to a 3 bedroom is actually 936 square feet and is type C1. Let us look at the layout first. Okay, so we see what this layout offers. There's only 22 units in this whole development for a 3 bedroom compact at 936 square feet. One thing that I have to highlight to you is over here, the aircon latch. The aircon latch is in front of bedroom 2 and 3. So very similar to just now what I mentioned about the 2 bedroom, the aircon latch at the balcony, right? If you have an aircon latch, that means to say most probably, very likely, it's just going to be half height windows. So for Sora, we look at the facing over here for the 936, right? It's also facing towards the lake. But the question is, if I'm paying a premium for the views, but I get compromised on the windows, which is just half height, and I do not enjoy a total view, then maybe this is something that we should consider. But of course, there are some pros to this layout. Okay, why is that so? Over here, we can see that the flexi, for 936 offering a flexi is actually a very efficient layout. Okay, a 3 plus flexi, you can potentially use it for a study or your helper's area for storage. And over here, which is actually the flexi is beside the dining. That means to say this wall can be hacked, and you're going to have a very spacious dining area over here. It could be a dining with a family area. So once you hack down this wall, the total space that you have for your living dining will definitely look more spacious. So this is the flexibility that Sora can offer you in this development, because the walls can be hacked. Certain walls can be hacked. So that is for 936 3 compact. Next, we look at the 3 premium. Now the jump from 3 compact to 3 premium is quite a bit, because that one was 936. The next jump will be 1098. So for 3 premium, it will cater to buyers who has a need for, example, additional home shelter, additional yard area. So that will be for 3 bedroom premium. Then the other layouts that we'll be looking at will be 3 premium plus study. 3 premium plus study, there's actually 3 different layouts. The first 2 that we're looking at is type C3S, C4S. The size is actually 1152 and 1163. Over here, what we offers you is definitely additional study over here, additional study, and also additional bomb shelter, yard, washing area. So definitely, if you do have a budget for 3 bedroom, I would actually suggest yourself looking at 3 Premium Plus Study because it's really very good space for own stay. You have got all that is needed. There's the home shelter for storage. You have the flexi, the study area. Okay, so that's for 3 Premium Plus Study, the first 2 layout. I'm going to bring your attention to 3 Premium Plus Study Type C5S. This is also the show flat unit type. So during the preview, please come and take a look at this layout because I want to highlight this very interesting layout over here at Sora 3 Plus Study. The study is actually besides the living area. So the previous 2 layout, the study is actually tucked in between the bedrooms. If I can actually show you again. The study usually is tucked between like the bathroom over here, or if let's say some of the layout, typical layout that we have, there could be another bedroom here and then the study is over here. So you can't do much to the study that is actually placed in this position. But for this C5S, the study is actually next to the living area. Which means to say, and also just now as I mentioned, in Sora there's a flexibility for you to hack down certain walls. In this layout, you can cater to 2 different groups of buyers. First group of buyers is that for buyers who needs a study, a proper study for own use. So this will be the first group of buyers. The second group of buyers will cater to people who like to have wide frontage living. Because why? This wall can actually be hacked down and you have a very wide frontage at your living area. Having a wide frontage at living area, definitely it creates a very different impression, and also the feeling of being inside a wide frontage living area is definitely very different. You can feel the spaciousness and also the amount of light that's going to come into a unit, right? You will definitely feel that the whole living and dining is going to be much brighter. So there are really this group of buyers who actually like wide living frontage. So for this layout, because of the flexibility, you can cater to this group of buyers. And also, what I've highlighted over here is that for this type C5S, you have got additional windows at your master. So this whole unit, right, when it's TOP, when you collect your keys, we can already see that it's going to be a very bright, very spacious living space for this 3 Plus Study. So this is for C5S. So coming to my recommended choice, because for 3 Compact, there is only 1 layout that we can have, which is 936. So for clients, for buyers yourself who has got a little bit budget constraint, I think that 936 can be something that you can still consider because of the flexibility over here that you can actually hack down to have a bigger dining space, and also for the fact of 936 being a more compact area, you have got actually very spacious master bedroom. If you look at 2 side by side right now, right, comparing 936 and 1098, the master bedroom size is actually about the same. So it's still a very efficient layout for the 936 Compact. So, but if you do have a little bit more budget, then of course the next choice will be 1098 stack 1 and 12, okay, because this offers you additional storage area, additional yard area. So this will be the choice unit, recommended unit for 3 bedroom. When it comes to the 3 Plus Study, definitely my recommended choice would be for C5S because of the layout. Because of the flexibility of layout, you can actually cater to a wider group of buyers in future when you want to resell. So when there is actually a bigger group of buyers, when there's more demand, when demand is more than supply, you generally will know that you'll be able to command a higher price next time in the resale market. So that's the recommendation for 3 bedroom. 3 and 3 Plus Study. So next we come to 4 bedroom. For 4 bedroom, there's only 1 layout and there is very little supply because there's only 1 stack that's sitting here, lake facing, 18 units only. And in this 4 bedroom is a very luxurious living 4 bedroom. The size is 1528 square feet. Comes with a very wide frontage at your living area with private lift. You have a master over here and you have a junior master over here. So, and then of course you have your home shelter for storage. So basically, it's everything you can find in a home, what you need for your own stay. So definitely in terms of the floor plan, there's nothing much to pick on for this 4 bedroom, very luxurious 1528 square feet. The next thing we want to know is if I'm going to get a 4 bedroom 1,005 square feet at Sora. What is my supply of the 4-bedroom that I have in the whole of District 22? And why do I need to know the supply? Because if I want to sell in future, who again are my competitors in this District 22? So we zoom into the supply of 4-bedroom with wide frontage layout in District 22. Okay, and these are the numbers that we have gotten. These are just the 6 projects that actually offers. Now I split down into 1,002 to 1,003 square feet. There's only 115 units. 1,002 to 1,003 square feet, 4-bedroom with wide frontage in District 22, there's only 115 units. If I want to look at 1,003 square feet and above, I only have got 84 units. If I want to zoom in further, 1,003 square feet and above with private lift, I only have got 73 units in the whole of District 22. So later I'm going to share with you why is that? Why is it good that we have got very little supply? So I'm going to go in depth later on. So before that, we look at the 5-bedroom layout first, and then we summarize the 4 and 5 as a whole. So again, for 5-bedroom in Sora, very little supply, very little units. There's only one stack 18 over here, overlooking the lake. So again, it offers the wide, very wide frontage layout, your private lift over here, and of course your 5 proper bedrooms with again the junior master proper home shelter for storage. So everything you want for own stay is there in this 5-bedroom luxurious 1,679 square feet. And also similarly, as per the 4-bedroom, what are the supply of the 5-bedroom in District 22 that offers wide frontage and private lift? So if I were to look at just 5-bedroom, I only have got 35 units in the whole of District 22 for 5-bedroom supply. If I want to zoom into 5-bedroom with private lift, there's only 18 units, and that's actually Lake Garden Residences because of the newer development. Plus Sora of another 18 units, total all in all, I only have got 36 units of the 5-bedroom with private lift. So again, the supply is very low. So what happens when there's very little supply? So this is what we're going to look at. We take with reference, for example, Tampines. Okay, so in Tampines, we look at this development, which is called Treasure at Tampines, just TOP very recently. There's actually 5-bedroom unit type in Treasure. Okay, there's 110 units. But then, at this point of time, there's only 13 units for sale. And if you look at the surrounding in Treasure itself, only East Point Green has got 5-bedroom, and there's only 8 units. The rest of the development surrounding this Treasure, right, the biggest unit type that we can see is actually just 4-bed. So the supply is very little in this vicinity. And what happened to Treasure 5-bedroom owners? They make very decent profit. Okay, so the lowest that we can see is actually about 500 to 600, those who actually sold earlier. But those who hold on a little bit longer, we can actually see that the profit is materialized at 900 over 1,000. So because of the very little supply in this area, the seller of Treasure 5-bedroom is able to command a higher price. But of course, you will also ask me, Elaine, would there be a lot of buyers for 5-bedrooms? My answer is probably no. Because of the higher quantum, we will not be expecting a very big group of buyers to look at the 5-bedroom in the resale market. But what we also want to balance it off is the very little supply. Because the supply is so little that you just need a small group of buyers looking into your 5-bedroom development, and if you are able to sell when there's no one is selling in the market, definitely you're able to command a much better price. So this is for Tampines. We also look at Marymount. Marymount Jadescape is also one of the newer development that TOP in 2023, and we can also see from here, maybe only Xinmin Plaza has got the 5-bedroom. The rest are pretty much just the maximum 4-bedroom. And in Jadescape itself, 5-bedroom, there's only 39 units. Let us take a look at what happened to Jadescape. So Jadescape 5-bedroom, this owner sold at 4.55 million, and the profit is actually about 1.1 over million. So again, this is about supply and demand. The supply is very low as per what we can see. There's only so little units of the 5-bedroom. And we all know, usually for 4 and 5-bedroom buyers, to wait for that 3 to 4 years of construction, usually is for own stay. So of what the units are available, already there's very little units available, but a majority of them are actually for own stay. That becomes, in the resale market, very little is available for sale. So we do not need to have a huge group of buyers to rush in for your development. We just need that 1 or 2 buyers looking at this, and if you happen to be one of them that's selling, you'll definitely be able to command a higher price. So that is what happens when there is very little supply of your unit type, but there is still demand for your unit type. Now, why do we say that there is still good demand for big units, 4 and 5-bedroom? Because actually, at 4.55 million, am I right to say that you can actually purchase a terrace house just beside Jadescape at the Marymount area, which is very true. Let us take a look. For Jadescape, as I mentioned, is over here, 4.55 million sold for 5-bedroom. With the same price or even lesser, we can actually buy a freehold terrace house at 3.4 or a freehold terrace house at 4.338. So actually, with the same price, you can also buy a landed house just beside. But we all know that some of the buyers, like yourself or myself, some of us, we met clients who just do not like to stay in a landed house, maybe for the fact that they do not need to have such a high build-up, all right? Or maybe they actually prefer the facilities in a condo, what the condo can offer. They will actually want to enjoy the facilities. So that being the case, right, you can see that although the price is very similar to the landed just beside, but there are still buyers looking for big floor plates in the condo area. Okay, so that's for 4 and 5-bedroom. We talk so much about the big floor plates. We emphasize on Sora 4 and 5-bedroom having private lift, enjoying the luxurious of having a private lift, the exclusivity. The question to ask is that, is it really good to have private lifts? Also in District 22, do we really get a lot of buyers who have the want or the need to say that I want to have a private lift in my home? So having private lift can be double-edged sword. It can be pros and cons. But why do I say so? Because we take one of the example, Mayfair, as a case study. When you have too many private lifts in the development, it becomes a disadvantage. Okay, for Mayfair, we take this as an example. Only the 1-bedroom do not have private lift. From 2 to 4, 2, 3, 4-bedroom all comes with private lift. That means to say, I did the calculation now. Okay, so these are the only 2 stacks of 1-bedder that do not have the private lift. So I did the calculation, there's a total of 13 private lift in the whole development. Plus, each tower has got 1 common lift. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 13 plus 4, I have a total of 17 lifts in that area. That means to say, the cost of maintenance is very, very high. I have got friends telling me that they really do encounter when in a development when there's too much private lift, and when the development has aged, the place that they are staying in, right, is the same situation, and the lift often breaks down. And maybe because of that, the maintenance fee is not sufficient to service all the lifts that is actually in the whole development. So that's why I mentioned, yes, of course, it's good to have private lift, but only when it offers exclusivity. That means, like for example, the newer developments, like for example, Sora, only the 4 and 5-bedroom comes with private lift. When you have a development whereby all the units, in fact about 80% of them all has got private lift, then this could be something that you want to avoid, because as the property age, the maintenance of the lift is very, very high. So that also explains the performance of Mayfair. We can see for 4-bedroom, the price doesn't really go up that much. At still quite a relatively attractive quantum, you can get a 4-bedroom at the Mayfair. But of course, bearing in mind, price, the quantum that you look at is attractive, but the maintenance of the development could be high in this development. With that, I've come to the end of my analysis at Sora. I hope that I've provided you information enough for you to understand the project in detail, and also how to select a unit for yourself if you're keen to look at Sora. So the preview is going to be very soon on the 22nd of June. If you would like to take a look at the development itself, to attend the preview, or you have more questions as to pertaining to which is the best layout type that is ideal for yourself, or what should be the unit type that you should be looking at, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next episode of the project analysis video.